We read 5 AA books, work the steps, sponsor you, and give writing and reading assignments. We will teach you an AA program. We move right along here and people get well here. Newcomers Slippers Step Workshop is a step workshop. Unlike most AA meetings, it is not a speaker's meeting nor a discussion meeting. It is more like an AA class, AA 101. You want to have the attitude of learning, do the assigned reading and writing on the steps. We will take you through the steps in AA books in short order. So if you are looking for guidance and direction in an AA program, this meeting is for you. Security for Newcomers Slippers Step Workshop. We use the waiting room. When you come in, we ask for your first name, last initial, country or city, and how long you've been sober. We have chat turned off. You can chat with the host or the co-host. We don't share phone numbers or emails here. Um, Unmute is turned off. Cameras and pictures are turned off at the beginning of each meeting. We turn
I
them on
just
later.
turned it on now, so you can start your video, guys.
We don't exchange phone numbers. You can get the number of the host for text and support. Here is our email for meeting confirmation: stepworkshop1@gmail.com. This is good for school, class, work, probation, court orders, etc. And below is a link to the meeting. We do all of the above for safety reasons since everyone is new here and we want to protect you. Zoom bombers try to get in and the above eliminates them. You will notice that this is a step workshop and not a speaker or discussion meeting. It is like a class, AA 101, AA University. It is a very unique meeting since we use the same principles AA used between 1932 and 1939. Everybody works in the group and moves through the 12 steps to live our lives free from alcohol and learn a new way of living. We're glad you can make it. Announcements. AA in this meeting is supported by our own contributions to Seventh Traditions. You can make donations to @Jann-Scott in Venmo. Contributions go to pay for Zoom, and we make monthly donations to Boulder One AA and Boulder County AA. We spend about $250 a month. This group meets daily with the following formats. On Monday, it's a step meeting, 12 and 12, Meme Monday. Tuesday is the Big Book, T-shirt Tuesday, AA inspired preferred. Wednesday is As Bill Sees It, Sunglass Wednesday. Thursday is Beginners, Steps 1, 2, or 3, or any beginner related topic. Dog Thursday. Friday is Open, the chair picks the topic, Cat Friday. Saturday is Living Sober, Virtual Background Day. And Sunday, we read the Daily Reflections, Fashion Sunday. Please join me in the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. AA Preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, and does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And below is a link to the newcomers packet. Newcomers, come to our meeting for 5 days and see how you like it. We'll put you to work. Please introduce yourself as an alcoholic when speaking. And back over to you, Jann, in the studio.
Thank you. Good job. It's Jesse in the basement. Um, so Preston, if you yeah, I know. If you could put up um our email address. So those of you who need email confirmation for court, school, job, probation, your whatever, you just write to us. Okay, there it is, right there, and then we'll respond to it. Anyways, everybody, hi, I'm Jann, alcoholic, and welcome to Newcomers Slippers Step Workshop. So, hey, we started this meeting 4.5 years ago, in 2020 during the pandemic, and what we noticed was that everybody who came to this meeting they were either coming back, or they were brand new to AA. So, we've had over, check this out, 30,000 people come to this meeting. 1,000 people have come, stayed, and got sober and did this 12-step program with us. And what is AA? AA is a 12-step process, how teaches you how to live your life without drinking. That's what it is. Now, it started in 1932 when Prohibition ended and America got back to drinking. And by 1939, they wrote this book called Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a textbook, so everybody should get it. In fact, would you put up, Preston, please, all the books that we use in this group, and then where people can get them? Okay, so the first 100 members in AA all stayed sober their entire lives in the 1930s. They had like an 80 to 100% success rate. AA does a census every so many years, and the last census showed that only 10% of alcoholics that come to AA stay sober. Why is that? The reason it is because the first members work together as a group, just like us right here. But now you go to an AA meeting and the discussion is usually about how is your day going? And it's almost like therapy. And then they never address the 12-step process. How do you rewire your brain? So we do that here. We do what they did back in the 1930s. And it's actually pretty pure and very cool way to do it. I think the reason most AA meetings don't address this 12-step process is because it's too frightening for them. So we do that right here. And here's the deal. If you think you just stick around if you're new to this meeting, we get about 100 new people here every single week. We have about 200 regular people who come here. And if you do this process with us, so what we do is we'll sponsor you. We will give you reading assignments, writing assignments. We'll take you through, all the different books and the steps. We're a one-stop shop. We get everything done here. It's like being on a high-speed train. You go from 0 to 90. So if you decide you're going to stick around in this class and do it, and this whole thing's designed for those of you guys that are new or coming back so that you can get the whole program. So it's a lot of work, but we don't fool around. This isn't one of those meetings where you go, yeah, we'll take a year to do all the steps. No, we're going to get the steps done in a month and a half, and see if you can get well, see if we can help you out here. So today, let's ask Julie. Hey, Julie, did you notice like we go from 0 to 90? Oh, no, you're Julie with 6 days. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Wait a minute. Did you have 6 days or 6 years?
Days.
Oh, days. Oh, so you're a different Julie. Hey, we had a different Preston. Now we have a different Julie. Never mind. Pay no attention to what I asked you. Just forget it. I'm going to stop talking. Things are going downhill. Suddenly, Jann became silent. People started looking at each other going, well, what the fuck just happened? Oh, we have different days here too, if you've noticed. Today is T-shirt Tuesday. So usually anybody wear a special T-shirt for today? I did. This one's of Che Guevara. He was a revolutionary, but then he turned out to be a commie. It was a mistake. Oh, what's that you have on, Sean? Is this T-shirt Tuesday? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a picture of the alcoholic me.
Oh my God. Oh, there you go. That's beautiful. And anybody else have a special T-shirt on today? No. Okay, tomorrow's Sunglass Wednesday. That's always fun. So, Friday, one of my favorite days, Cat Friday. People bring their cats to the meeting. I don't have a cat, so somebody sent this to me. Preston has cats, right? Look at that right behind him. See it? It's cat sleeping, right, Preston? Unconscious. What's your cat's name? Does he come up Friday?
Pumbaa.
What's his name?
Pumbaa, like from
Pumbaa.
the Lion King.
Pumbaa. Oh yeah. We have Dog Thursday on dogs. On Thursday, people bring their dogs to the meeting on Thursday. Like you ever go to an AA meeting and the dog's always getting around barking and all that. Well, then Dog Thursday, it's completely allowed. And then sometimes people will come and they're trying to shush their cat off the meeting for cat. Friday's Cat Friday. So then everybody that has a cat, you let your cat come in, you can climb all over the computer. We don't really care. Sometimes people have children in meetings, that's fine. That of course is allowed, not a problem. So today we're going to work on step 9, which is on step 8 and 9, which is on in the AA Big Book. It's on page 76. So if you guys could put a link up for that, please. And everybody follow along. We're going to go through the instructions on steps 8 and 9. And steps 8 and 9 say, on page 59 or 58, says made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. So step 8 in the 12-step process of recovery, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Also, the word amends, kind of comes from mending, or maybe the mending of fences. So it can also be people that you've lost touch with. You haven't not necessarily harmed them, but maybe you haven't talked to them in a while, and you're sobering up, and you're like, God, I should probably reach out and say hello to my long lost friend, so and so. So this step can be used like that too. And step 9 says, make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Now, sometimes people come into the program and they jump right on step 8 and 9, and they go on the big, what's called apology tour, and they only have a week sober or something. Don't freaking do that. We want you to get sober, try to make your way through the rest of the other steps. We'll help you do that because we'll sponsor you. We will give you reading and writing assignments, and we're going to give you assignments of what to do. Okay, and we'll take you through the 9th step. A lot of times people get ready to do their 8th and 9th step, and they'll email their what they think they're going to say to so and so. They'll email it to me, and I'll have a look at it, and then edit it, send it back to you, see how you like it. Because sometimes, we're gushing over, oh my God, I was so horrible, and I want to kill myself, but I won't kill myself because you'll feel terrible. No, we don't write amend letters like that. That's really stupid. But we'll help you out. Okay. So then the amends begin on pages 76. Okay, and Preston or somebody, one of the guys, there it is. Preston put it up. You can go to that, and if you have a big book, go to that in the book, or go to that right here. Eight and 9. Hey, Jeff, you want to start reading? And I'll stop you when I want to interrupt.
Jeff, alcoholic of South Florida. Thank you for the opportunity. Now it's on page 76, middle of the page. Now we need more action, without which we find that faith without works is dead. Look at steps 8. Let's look at steps 8 and 9. We have a list of all persons we have harmed and to whom we are willing to make amends. We made it when we took inventory. We subjected ourselves to a drastic self-appraisal. Now we can go out to our fellows and repair the damage done in the past. We attempt to sweep away the debris which is accumulated out of our effort to live on our self-will and run the show ourselves. If we haven't the will to do this, we ask until it comes. Remember, it was agreed at the beginning we would go to any lengths for victory over alcohol. Probably there are still some misgivings. As we look over the list of business acquaintances and friends we have hurt, we may feel diffident about going to some of them on a spiritual basis. Let us be reassured. To some people, we need not and probably should not emphasize the spiritual nature on our first approach. We might prejudice them. At the moment, we are trying to put our lives in order, but this is not an end in itself. Our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people about us. It is seldom wise to approach an individual who still smarts from our injustice to him and announce that we have gone religious. In the prize ring, this would be called leading with the chin. Why lay ourselves open to be branded fanatics or religious bores? We may kill a future opportunity to carry a beneficial message. But our man is sure to be impressed with a sincere desire to set right the wrong. He is going to be more interested in a demonstration of goodwill than in our talk of spiritual discoveries. We don't use this as an excuse for shying away from the subject of God. When it will serve any good purpose, we are willing to announce our convictions with tact and common sense. The question of how to approach the man we hated will arise.
Okay,
It may
stop right
be,
there.
go ahead,
Stop
yes,
right
sure.
there for a second. So, this was written in the 1930s. Bill is he? I mean, I think they all got saved in the church, and they were trying to. They're being a little bit evangelical, and then he's talking about bringing up this whole subject of God and making amends. So again, in this meeting, for our purposes, we like to look at the topic of God as, I mean, here we are in 2024. A lot of things have changed in America, you know. And one is a lot of people don't go to church, or we have people that are atheists, or they're people of, various religions. Not everybody, Christianity and Judaism is not the primary religions anymore. We have people that they are Buddhists, or they're Hindu, or they're Muslim, or they have or they're atheists, or they're non-theists, or they're in kind of a different world. A lot of these people all read the Bible. In fact, the Bible was used in AA early on until they wrote this book. So, for our purposes, the topic of God in this meeting, we like to think of God as love, um, the pure light, within you, the God light, or the Spirit, or the Spirit of the universe, or the Holy Spirit, or the Spirit of good, or good orderly direction, or the force, or that thing that we reach out to and we say when we're dying from alcoholism, God, I will do anything if you can help me stop drinking and get sober. And then voila, here you are. You show up at this meeting because of that prayer. And now you and I are talking about God. However, this whole thing that he says about we don't go in and start talking about God right away. Um, in a ninth step, I don't think so. In 2024, is they're going to label you as religious fanatics. I mean, at least where I live, probably not something I'm going to bring up. What we usually do is we'll start out with, hey, let's say I owe somebody some money. I owe a financial amend. So I'll say, hey, Dave, I quit drinking about 2 months ago, and I'm in the Alcoholics Anonymous program, and part of that program is making amends to people that we have harmed, and I know I owe you $1,000 from some work that you did for me, and I'm sober now, and I'm working, and I'm making some money, so I'd like to pay you back if I could. And I've sat down and figured out my finances, and I'd like, if I could pay you, say, $100 a week. I'd really like to do that. And Dave goes, oh, so you quit drinking? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I knew you were going to AA. Well, good for you. I said, yeah, I'll send you a check every week. Okay. In fact, I have one right here. I'm ready to give you. Oh, okay. Oh, that'll be great, Jann. Thanks. And that's kind of how we do a financial amend. We start to figure out what we can do, but don't go doing it on your own. contact us first before you do. Okay, back to you, Jeff. I'll let you pick up the reading from there. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Jeff, alcoholic. It may be that he has done us more harm than we have done him. Uh, Rarely. And though
Yeah,
we may
let's
have.
stop. Let me stop.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Chances are pretty good that he has not. We have a tendency to be pissed off and blame everybody. Um, depending. Okay. So
Okay.
let's say we have, the person who they got a DUI, they had to go to court and they had to pay fines and they had that ankle bracelet. And now they're all pissed off at the cops, the court, and the ankle bracelet manufacturer. And that person did more harm to me than I did to no, you were drunk driving. And that's part of the game. You get pulled over now. This is what happens. Well, I'm still really, well, that's too bad. You have to get over that. I'm gonna keep going.
Yes, okay. It may be that he's done us more harm than we've done him, and though we have acquired a better attitude toward him, we are still not too keen about admitting our faults. Nevertheless, with a person we dislike, we take the bit in our teeth. It is harder to go to an enemy than to a friend, but we find it much more beneficial to us.
Now
We
stop
go
right there.
to, go ahead, yes.
So this was primarily written by men who were in business and men who screwed a lot of people over on Wall Street, and salespeople. There were very few women in AA when this was written. So women alcoholics, oftentimes, you're married, you have a husband, maybe he's an alcoholic, he's beating you up, he beats up the kids, and this does not apply to you. This is like, what we learn in things like ACA, adult children of alcoholics, etc. We learn it in therapy. I'm not going to make any amends to the abuser. I try to stay away, as far away from the monster as I can. Or it could be family, you could be a kid, a male, young kid, dad's drunk, beating you up all the time, the neighbors beat you up, or the neighbors are mean to you, and you have teachers that are mean to you and all you're getting abused. This question of amends to those people is hell no. But we do have to turn them over. We have to release them to our higher power and to say, God, you take care of this person. I can't really deal with them. All right, Jeff, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. We go to him in a helpful and forgiving spirit, confessing our former ill feeling and expressing our regret. Under no condition do we criticize such a person or argue. Simply tell him that we will never get over drinking until we have done our utmost to straighten out the past.
This really is aimed at people that you've screwed over.
Screwed over, yes.
Yeah, like people that you've worked for did a bad job, they fired you. People you've embezzled money from,
Yeah.
cheated on. There's a whole other thing. If you're a cheater and you've cheated on your wife or your husband, this book really, it basically tells you we make the amend except when to do so would injure
Not to
them or others.
Yeah.
So if you're a cheater, they're kind of saying probably not a good idea to say, well, I got sober and incidentally, I cheated on you with these 10 people. I mean, that's just really stupid. It's a good way to get yourself shot. Go ahead.
Yes, yes. Simply, we tell him we will never get over drinking until we have done our utmost to straighten out the past. We are there to sweep off our side of the street, realizing that nothing worthwhile can be accomplished until we do so, never trying to tell him what he should do. Our faults are not discussed. His faults are not discussed. We stick to our own. If our manner is calm, frank,
let me
and
interrupt you again. This is
Go
so
ahead.
important here. We had somebody who didn't talk to us before they made the amend, went and made the amends to her husband, and then she proceeded to tell him everything that was wrong with him. Well, that ended that. They not only got divorced, nobody in the family would speak to her again. I was like, don't do that. I'm making my amends and I'm sweeping, cleaning my side of the street, but incidentally, you're a no good bastard. And let me tell you what you've done. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't do that. That's
Mhm.
not the ninth step. Okay, sorry there. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you. Can I just say, yeah, that's anybody else, that's so important because what you're hearing from now, Janice talking about what a sponsor would say to you who is working the steps in his life himself. That's
Yep.
so important because just if it doesn't come from here, no matter who says it, it shouldn't come. Okay. Um, in 9 cases out of 10, the unexpected happens. Sometimes a man we are calling upon admits his own fault. So feuds of fears stand melting away in an hour. Rarely do we fail to make satisfactory progress. Our former
I've had
enemies,
that happen.
good.
Look, I have made, amends to people and things melt away. Usually it's about owing money, business stuff, things I need to take care of. People really do appreciate that. Okay, back to you, Jeff.
Okay. Um, our former enemies sometimes praise what we are doing and wish us well. Occasionally, they will offer assistance. It should not matter, however, if someone does throw us out of his office. We have made our demonstration, done our part. It's water over the dam. Most of alcoholics owe money. We do not dodge our creditors, telling them that we're doing what we are trying to do, and we make no bones about our drinking, and they usually know it anyway, whether or not we think so. Nor are we afraid of disclosing our alcoholism on the theory it may cause financial harm. Approached in this way, the most ruthless creditor will sometimes surprise us. Arranging the best deal we can, we let these people know we are sorry.
Stop right
Our
there.
drink, go ahead, yes.
So arranging the best deal we can. So in this day and age, you've got credit cards, 4 or 5 credit cards. They're all at different levels and rates. And it says right here in the 1930s, we arranging, you can underline that too, arranging the best deal we can. So let's say you owe 10,000, all right, on a credit card, but you're broke and you figured out, here's my income. My income's like, let's say your income's 4,000 a month, okay? And then after we look at all the things that we have to pay for ourselves, starting with, the mortgage, the rent, the car payment, food, have to have enough food for the family and the kids, set a little 10% aside for personal savings. We always do that here. So you go to the credit card company and you say, well, I know you, Mr. Visa, I owe you 10,000. And this is what I have. I have an extra, well, actually, we don't even tell them what we have. What we tell them is we figure out a formula to pay them. And we say, I can pay you $30 a week for the next 15 years. And they're going to go, oh, fuck, no, we're not going to do. Can't you pay any more than, said, no, it's all I have. You don't tell them how much money you have left over, that you actually have 400, because they're going to want the whole 400. But you'll figure out the formula, which is in the book. What's the name of the book, Sean? Come on. Who knows the book? Written by an AA guy. What's the name of the book, Preston? God damn it, Sean. What's the name of the book?
Yeah, it's by that Mendel guy. How to Stay Out of
No.
Debt, something.
Gerald Mundis.
Mundus.
How to stay out of so look it up, Chessie, and put the book up there. They give you a formula in that for financial amends. So as an example, and I've had a couple companies go broke where I had to go and make a financial amends by using the formula in Gerald Mundis' book, How to Get Out of Debt and Stay Out of Debt. Would you put a link up for that, Jesse, or the person who finds it? Save it and put it. You can get the book on Amazon. Okay. No, we need the link. It's no good. Okay, so you talk to them, and you tell them this is what I can do, and then they'll say, well, we're going to write this off. Say, well, I'd really like to pay. Is there any? So let's say, well, usually it's a credit company, a collection company, and they'll say, well, you owe 10,000. If we could set it down to we'll cut it to 5,000 or 3,000. Okay, we're going to write the debt off anyways. And then you negotiate, you do the best deal you can, as it said right here. So then you can sometimes negotiate it to 30 or 40 or $50 a month. And we have had, $100,000 in debt variously, and get that whole thing cut down and get it on a payment plan, an automatic pay plan set through the collection agency, because they just want money. They don't care how they get it. It's not personal with them. It's just business. They take the gun out and shoot you in the head. No, but they will cut a deal with you. Okay. And so then you always want to ask us if you're going to do financial amends in this meeting. There it is right there. We put the book up, and there's a financial percentage. And for tomorrow, Sean, I want you to find what the financial part of that book is, and we're going to talk more about that. Okay, back over to you. Jeff, keep reading.
Okay. Jeff, alcoholic. Our drinking has made us slow to pay. We must lose our fear of creditors no matter how far we have to go, for we are liable to drink if we are afraid to face them. Perhaps we have committed a criminal offense which might land us in jail if we were known to the authorities. We may be short in our accounts and unable to make good. We have already admitted this in confidence to another person, but we are sure we would be imprisoned or lose our job if it were known. Maybe it's only a petty offense such as padding the expense account. Most of us have done that sort of thing. Do you want to comment on this? This is a very important part. I kind of know what you're going to say. Do you want to comment on this about getting the advice? Yeah.
No, only that most people in AA don't have expense accounts right now. Remember, these were high finance guys in Wall Street. Most of us have what I just talked about. Most of us have, credit cards where we run up credit card debt, and that this book tells you how to deal with it. Excuse me, just touch the screen. It went crazy. Okay. The other thing is embezzlement from the company. If you work for somebody, employee theft. We just need to talk about that a little bit before you go making phone calls to your employer. And we have had people, I will tell you, there was a lady who was here. She had the perfect program. Everything was working really good. She had this small problem, which was stealing from her company that she worked for to the tune of $100,000. And it was a little store that she stole all the money from. And she got arrested, convicted of felony theft, and they were getting ready to sentence her. She was, I think she was going to go to prison or jail, her first offense. And then her father dies and leaves her $125,000. So the judge, her lawyer goes to the judge and said, well, she's going to have this money in 2 months or so. And the judge let her off the hook. She was able to pay the money back, still had a felony conviction, avoided prison. But this lying, cheating thing with alcoholics is just notorious. Go ahead, Jeff, keep reading.
Yes. Maybe we're divorced and have remarried, but haven't kept up the alimony to number one. She is indignant about it and has a warrant out for your arrest. That's a common form of trouble too. Although these reparations take innumerable forms, there are some general principles which we find guiding. Reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any lengths to find a spiritual experience, we ask, that we be given strength and direction to do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequences may be. We may lose our position or reputation or face jail, but we are willing. We have to
Well,
be. We must not shrink at anything. Go ahead, please.
well, okay, a couple things. The part about prayer is really good. So you can pray about this and ask God to come into this situation, and miracles often happen around these things. Now, I was in a ninth step group, and there was a guy that was there, and he'd already served some prison time, 4 or 5 years. He finds AA in prison, gets out, and then he's sitting at this ninth step round table saying, well, I did rob a bank 20 years ago, and I'm going to go and turn myself in and make amends. And it's like, and everybody's like, whoa, just wait a minute. You just served time. You have a wife, you have kids, you
Yeah.
have a job. Maybe not the smartest thing in the world to go over to this bank
Mhm.
or to the sheriff and tell him that you robbed it, because they're going to throw you right back in prison again, even make it even worse on you, and you're not going to be able to take care of your family. So we need to be really freaking careful about these nights. I mean, I've heard AA people say, yeah, well, you're just going to have to go do it. Well, these were Wall Street financiers, not very many of them went to jail. They were like,
Mhm.
they're screwing people out of millions of dollars every day, and now they're going to go
Yep.
to the boss, in a Wall Street building and say, well, I've been cheating on my. I'm like, just slow down before you make these. You do, and I've seen people do this, get slammed, going right in fucking prison. What good is that? Okay, go ahead. Keep reading.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Um, Usually, however, or no matter what the person, we may lose our position or reputation or face jail, but we are willing. We have to be. We must not shrink at anything. Usually, however, other people are involved. Therefore, we are not to be hasty or the foolish martyr who would needlessly sacrifice others to save himself from the alcoholic pit. A man we know had remarried. Because of resentment and drinking, he had not paid alimony to his first wife. She was furious. She went to court and got an order for his arrest. He had commenced our way of life and secured a position and was getting his head above water. It would have been impressive heroics if he had walked up to the judge and said, here I am. We thought he ought to be willing to do that if necessary, but if he were in jail, he could provide nothing for either family. We suggested he write his first wife, admitting his faults and asking forgiveness. He did, and also send a small amount of money. He told her what he would try to do in the future. He said he was perfectly willing to go to jail if she insisted. Of course, she did not. The whole situation has long been adjusted.
Today, in modern days, some people have, they have drug dealers they owe money to. And depending on where you live, probably not a wise idea to burn the drug dealer. You may have to pay him back. And uh, just because you got sober and you owe your drug dealer $2,000, sometimes they will listen and talk to you. It's better than that than having them come and find you and kill you. If you're in LA, or big cities and that kind of stuff, I've I've actually, you know, um, in some programs, they'll tell you to pay your drug debts. You don't have the right to become high and mighty. It's still another debt. Go ahead.
Uh, okay, that's very germane to, I'm sure, the people in here. So, would you want to buy me just a little bit more again, yeah, with the regarding? Not, I don't have drug debts, but just I'm sure.
No, I'm just saying, if you owe your drug dealer money for cocaine, okay, and he's calling you up saying you owe me this money, you may have to make financial arrangements with him. That's it. Keep going.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah, very great advice. Yeah, please heed it. Um, the okay, this brings to mind a story about one of our friends. While drinking, he accepted a sum of money from a bitterly hated business rival, giving him no receipt for it. He subsequently denied having received the money and used the incident as a basis for discrediting the man. He thus used his own wrongdoings as a means of destroying the reputation of another. In fact, his rival was ruined. He felt that he had done a wrong he could not possibly make right. If he opened up that old affair, he was afraid it would destroy his reputation of his partner, disgrace his family, take away his means of livelihood. What right had he to involve those dependent upon him? How could he possibly make a public statement exonerating his rival? After consulting with his wife and partner, he came to the conclusion that it was better to take those risks than to stand before his creator guilty of such ruinous slander. He saw that he had to place the outcome in God's hands, or he would start drinking again, and all would have been lost anyhow. After the sermon, he quietly got up and made an explanation. His action meant widespread approval, and today he is one of the most trusted citizens of his town. This all happened years ago. There are chances that we have domestic troubles. Perhaps we have mixed up with women in a fashion we wouldn't have cared to have advertised. We doubt if, in this respect, alcoholics are fundamentally much worse than other people, but drinking does complicate sex relations in the home. For after a few years with an alcoholic, a wife gets worn out, resentful, and uncommunicative. How could she be anything else? The husband begins to feel lonely, sorry for himself. He commences to look around in the nightclubs or their equivalent for, for something besides liquor. Perhaps he is having a secret and exciting affair with the girl who understands. In fairness, we say that she may understand, but what are we going to do about a thing like that? A man so involved often feels very remorseful at times, especially if he is married to a loyal and courageous girl who has literally gone through hell for him. Whatever the situation, we usually have to do something about it. If we are sure our wife does not know, should we tell her? Not always, we think. If she knows in a general way that we have been wild, should we tell her in detail? Undoubtedly, we should admit our fault. She may insist on knowing all the particulars. She will want to know who the woman is and where she is. We feel we ought to say to her that we have no right to involve another person.
All right, let me
We are
stop you
sorry.
right there.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yes, sir. Very
just stop.
important.
Stop. All right, so listen, the part about this, that's 1930s. We are in 2024. I mean, there are all kinds of diseases out there, communicable, STDs, et cetera, et cetera. So, what we usually do once we get sober, and we need to go to a doctor, make sure that we are checked out if we have those diseases. And in AA these days, in this century from the 1980s forward, there is everything, herpes simplex 2, AIDS, all sorts of STDs. You're going to have to tell your significant other and help that person get to, a doctor and get some medical care. So that advice is out the window in this book. It's like well, whatever, you're just gonna have to deal with it. And I think everybody knows that. This is 1930s speak, but we're in 2024. Okay, keep going.
Okay. Our design for living is not a one-way street. It is good for the wife as for the husband. If we can forget, so can she. It is better, however, that one does not needlessly name a person upon whom she can vent jealousy. Perhaps there are some cases where the utmost frankness is demanded. No outsider can appraise such an intimate situation. It may be that both will decide that the way of good sense and loving kindness is to let bygones be bygones.
Well,
Each might pray. Go ahead.
Let me say something about this too. So, half the people in AA right now are women. This was written primarily for men.
For men, yeah.
Just stop. Okay, this is written primarily for men.
Yeah.
And where you're in a two-way relationship, and women have to talk to their husbands about this kind of stuff also. And this is all written from a male perspective, and I can see how sometimes women become annoyed. We have a lot of women in this meeting. So it's kind of a different world. Everybody has to take responsibility. And also, try to do the best you can in your amend. Yeah, this fits for everybody. This book was written in a time when it separates men and women, not in a healthy way, not for today. Go ahead, Jeff, keep reading. You have to unmute. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, Jeff Alcoholic. Keep it always in sight that we are dealing with that most terrible human emotion, jealousy. Good generalship may decide that the problem to be attacked on the flank rather than a face-to-face combat. If we have no such complications, there is plenty we should do at home. Sometimes we hear an alcoholic say that the only thing he needs to do is keep sober. Certainly he must keep sober, for there will be no home if he doesn't. But he is yet a long way from making good to the wife or parents whom for years he has so shockingly treated. Passing all understanding is the patience mothers and wives have had with alcoholics. Had this not been so, many of us would have had no homes today and would perhaps be dead. The alcoholic is like a tornado, roaring his way through the lives of others. Hearts are broken, sweet relationships are dead, affections have been uprooted, selfish and inconsiderate habits have kept the home in turmoil. We feel a man is unthinking when he says that sobriety is enough. He's like the farmer who come out of a cyclone cellar to find his home ruined and said to his wife, "Don't see anything the matter here, Ma. Ain't it grand that the wind stopped blowing?"
Stop right there. Just a second. So this was written during the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl was wind blowing across the center of America and destroying farmland everywhere in the 1930s. So that's his reference there. And if you wonder what the Dust Bowl is, go look it up on PBS. There's a documentary on it on YouTube. You can go see what he's talking about. He's making a Dust Bowl reference. And again, this is talking about husbands, men, and the women are the victims. But it's not talking about women, but it applies there too. How about you, Jesse? You want to pick it up and read from there? And just be prepared to have me interrupt.
Yes, there's a long period of reconstruction ahead. We must take the lead. A remorseful mumbling that we are sorry won't fill the bill at all. We ought to sit down with the family and frankly analyze the past as we now see it, being very careful not to criticize them.
Stop right there for a second. So sometimes people, they cryptically call this the apology tour. So one of the things that we do in this meeting is we don't use the word "I'm sorry" or "I apologize" in our amend, because whoever it is, they've heard it before. We like freaking apologize, forever in the day. And our apologies fall hollow. Not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is make amends to people, try to mend up relationships as best we can. Go ahead, Jesse.
Their defects may be glaring, but the chances are that our own actions are partly responsible. So we clean house with the family, asking each morning in meditation that our Creator show us the way of patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love.
Now stop right there. This is so important because we have to pray for these people. We have to, ask for love and good orderly direction in their life. In order that's the spiritual dynamic of this program. Go ahead.
The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think we ought not to urge them. We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. They will change in time. Our behavior will convince them more than our words. We must remember that 10 or 20 years of drunkenness would make a skeptic out of anyone. There may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We don't worry about them if we can honestly say to ourselves that we would right them if we would. Some people cannot be seen. Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter. And there may be a valid reason for postponement in some cases. but we don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, considerate, and humble without being servile or scraping. As God's people, we stand on our feet. We don't crawl before anyone. If
Now
we are
here's
paying,
just a sec. So here are what's called, underline this, guys. This is called the promises, the AA promises that's often read at the end of every meeting. So, but this is an end result of doing 8 steps, 8 and 9, and all the steps before 8 and 9. So this is what's going to happen in your life. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we're halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. This is all out of doing the 9th step here, guys. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. So that's the end of the reading on step 8 and 9. But very, very powerful. And the nice thing about having a group like this is those of you who are working on the 9th step, you can sort of dig in and start to do this, okay, with us as we go through it. So that pretty much is the end of today. This meeting is over. And can join me in the serenity prayer. Goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And yep, we're here every day. Same bat time, same bat channel. If you're new, just keep coming, come for like 5 days. And if anybody has any questions about today's meeting, or AA in general, you can unmute and ask me